reevaluating the plan around it, right? It's one thing to say that you want to hit these goals. It's another thing to actually have a plan around these goals that's going to help you accomplish them in the fastest, cheapest, and most effective way possible. It's awesome to have financial goals, right? But if you don't have the right tools to help you accomplish those goals, it's going to be really hard to accomplish them in the first place, let alone in the manner and the speed that you want to accomplish them in. That's something to really think about. If you have financial goals and you don't have the proper tools, of course you're not hitting those goals. Here is one thing that you can do to make sure that you assure that you reach your financial goals by the end of the year. And so as I'm shooting this video, we are halfway through the year of 2024. So let's do a mid-year money check-in, right? And my first question is, do you have your top 3 financial goals? Like if I asked you, what are your top 3 financial goals that you're working on right now, and in what order are you prioritizing those? Could you answer that question? And if you can, is it, hey, I set these goals in the beginning of the year, right? And I said I wanted to hit them and I haven't tracked any progress since, right? So the second question is, if you do have those goals, are you tracking progress each day or each week on these goals to ultimately make sure that they still make sense to be going after, and if they do, to understand where you're at and what you need to do between now and the end of the year to accomplish those goals. That's the first part of this money check-in. I think a big part of this mid-year money check-in when it comes to your financial goals too as well is just reevaluating the plan around it, right? It's one thing to say that you want to hit these goals. It's another thing to actually have a plan around these goals that's going to help you accomplish them in the fastest, cheapest, and most effective way possible, right? It's one thing for me to say, hey, I want to save $50,000 between now and the end of the year. Hey, I want to pay off $20,000 in credit card debt. Or hey, I want to invest in this new program for my business for $15,000. But it's another thing to actually have a plan and exactly how you're going to make that happen. Right? So I'll challenge you, right? Pause this video actually as you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on YouTube, pause this video and take yourself through those first 3 questions. Do you have your top 3 goals? Right? Are you tracking progress? And do you ultimately have a very solid plan on those goals that's going to help you accomplish them in the fastest, cheapest, and most effective way possible? Again, it's one thing to say you have these goals, it's another thing to trust, know, and follow and track the plan. I think another big part of this mid-year money check-in is just checking if you're using the right tools to help you accomplish your financial goals. So it's awesome to have financial goals, right? But if you don't have the right tools to help you accomplish those goals, it's going to be really hard to accomplish them in the first place, let alone in the manner and the speed that you want to accomplish them in. Think about it this way. I always use this analogy. My father-in-law is a contractor, right? And we were having a conversation one day about budgeting. And he was asking the importance of it, if he should implement one, how he should go about it, why he needs to do it, right? The whole 9 yards. It was a quality conversation. And in the moment, I thought to give him this analogy, which was, at the time, he was renovating one of our bathrooms in our house. And I said, hey, Frank, wouldn't you say it's your goal to create the best possible bathroom for us? Like, you want that thing to look immaculate, right? And the look on his face, he was like, of course, duh, that's what's gonna happen, right? And so I was like, perfect, great. Do you think you would be able to accomplish those goals if you came over here without your tools? Like if you didn't have your hammer, your saw, your screwdriver, and whatever other tools contractors use, right? Do you think that you'd be able to accomplish that goal to the best of your ability without those tools? And he was like, oh, absolutely not. And I was like, exactly my point when it comes to budgeting or using a budget as a tool for you accomplishing your financial goals, like saving more money, making more money, investing more money, growing your impact through your business, right? Maybe buying another business, starting a new business. All of those financial goals, guess what? You need tools to help you get there in the cheapest, most trustworthy, and effective way possible. And the budget is the main tool, right? And so budgeting doesn't have to feel like handcuffs or restricting, and it doesn't have to be hard and confusing, right? Quality budgets actually empower you to live your life, empower you to spend your money, and they allow you to live your life while in parallel of making financial progress at the same time, right? And when you run the right budget, you feel empowered, right? Like you feel good about money. You feel like you're informed and you're making good, responsible decisions, while also, like I said, being able to balance a little bit of lifestyle in the process, right? Which is so super important when it comes to your financial progress. As counterintuitive as that sounds, you have to live your life because it's good for your mental health. It's good for your spirituality. It's good for the presence with your family. And it's honestly, if you're a business owner, it's good for networking and just getting out there, right? And meeting people. That's something to really, really think about. If you have financial goals and you don't have the proper tools, of course you're not hitting those goals. I think a big thing here that I want to clarify as well for this mid-year financial checkpoint, right, is understanding the objective and the purpose and the duties of your CPA or your accountant and your financial advisor, right? When my company JFF is talking to people and they're like, I think I got all the support I need. I have an accountant who submits my taxes at the end of the year, and like I talk to my financial advisor once a quarter about some investments that I have no idea about. It's like, no, you don't. You don't have the support you need. You don't have the information that you need, right? It's nothing that the CPAs and the financial advisors are doing wrong, right? The issue is that like the expectations around what they do and what you actually need to make quality and optimal financial progress is just not understood. A CPA is simply to file your taxes, right? They don't call you unless you call them for the most part. Like some of them are checking in quarterly with you, right? But like the CPA is there for your taxes for the most part. And there's so much more to do with your finances, especially as a business owner, than taxes. Tax is very important, right? But there's plenty more to do and understand. A financial advisor is there for your investments and your insurances, right? Also, very important topics for business owners, right? But again, not everything that you need to know when it comes to your finances, not all of the work that you need to do, right? The autonomy that you need to take and the support that you need along the way. You need support in your day-to-day strategy and emotions that pop up around finances, right? And your financial advisor and your CPA, though they're great at what they do, they're not providing that day-to-day support that is needed when you have questions like, what should I do here strategy-wise, right? You need somebody that understands all of your unique variables, and while they're great at strategy, they can also hold space and coach you through emotions, which usually just ends up being, the biggest problem when it comes to making financial progress. We're just avoiding emotions or coping with emotions when it comes to our actions, particularly our neglect, our ignorance, and our lack of progress when it comes to our finances. Again, not your fault, right? But darn well your responsibility to step up and take care of your future by understanding that you need to seek day-to-day support. If you're not where you want to be in your finances, right? You're not making the progress that you want to make, and you're also not stepping up and doing the things that you know that are going to create real change, I encourage you to seek out day-to-day support. The most important thing here, no matter the support that you have, is you must understand that like you're going to have to step up and do the work. A financial journey is a lifelong journey. At best, it's this beautiful dance of 4 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, right? And it's a lifelong journey, right? That you never just show up to perfection with. Like you don't just wake up one day and like, like I'm perfect with my finances, right? It's forever a dance, right? And so with that, it takes a lot of work, right? No matter what level you're at, you're gonna have to put in the work, especially in the beginning when it's the hardest to face your finances. It's the hardest to step up and do what's right and have the conversations with you, yourself, not you and yourself, you, other people, and God, to really ultimately uncover what needs to be done and what you're being called to do when it comes to better stewarding and managing your finances. Just knowing that like you are responsible, for your own well-being when it comes to your finances, and it's work that needs to be put in. And so I always love to say when things start to become expectations, it's no longer problems, right? And so when it comes to finances, once you have the strategy in place, it's very simple. It's like do X, Y, and Z and you'll accomplish X, Y, and Z. But it's not easy, and mainly when the emotions come into play, right? Our bad experience with finances or whatever negative feelings that we have around money, we must work through if we want to get best results with our finances. Do you have your goals? Are you tracking progress? Do you actually trust, believe, and follow the plan that's included? Are you following the right tools, right? Like a budget, and ultimately understanding the expectations when it comes to your CPA or your accountant, your financial advisor, you, and any other additional support that you need. And lastly, this is gonna take work. Financial freedom is, living life on your own terms, right? And it's a beautiful thing, right? But it's an outcome very little achieve because they're not willing to put in the input that is required to achieve that outcome. And so I hope this was helpful. As always, please like, comment your biggest takeaway, and keep coming back for more, because I'm gonna continue to provide financial literacy and education that is hopefully a start to your financial journey and inspires you to take the next steps.